I have a few admissions to make at the top. One, I did get catcalled last night in New York City. My confidence level is really high right now, so I'm gonna hope to keep that up. Two, I am gonna tell my friends I did a one-act play on Broadway, so don't steal that from me. Don't tell them the truth of the matter. Three, when I offered and volunteered to present at Digital Velocity, I had absolutely no idea it would be at 9:30 the day after the big party. So I hope to at least make this enjoyable for y'all. I'm gonna hope to make it enjoyable for me as well. As Elizabeth said, DIRECTV has been on a journey from one of a shared ecosystem, a shared stack, to one that is truly ours and truly customized for us. So a little bit of history lesson. DIRECTV founded in '94, and at the ripe young age of 21 years old, we got married. And my God, it was gonna be amazing. We synergized with each other. We were gonna be together forever. We moved in, we consolidated. I got rid of my couch. We used their couch. Things were great. In the first year, we released our streaming product. Yes, DIRECTV is not a satellite company anymore. If you still think that, find me afterwards, let's have a conversation. But not everything is perfect. The reality is the relationship soured, and eventually we separated. Separation is hard, but separation comes with opportunities to redefine who you want to be. What stacks do you want to use? What platforms do you want to use, and how flexible do you want to be within that? I'm proud to say that in 2022, the MarTech team was formed. Some of those members are in the room today with us. And what I always like to tell my boss is, I was MarTech employee number 1. I was first in, and I will be last out. By golly, I'm like a cockroach. So as we moved into our journey, as we moved into discovering who we wanted to be, we established where we were. And the reality is the tools we had within our MarTech stack had 3 commonalities. One, it wasn't really best in slot. Some of the tools we had were fully customized to the needs at the time, which meant moving was hard, updating was hard, incorporating new capabilities and functionality were, you guys guessed it, hard. It just made things more complex. The second commonality, we had a lot of homebrews. For anybody in the audience, if you have homebrews, good on you. I'm not fighting whenever you want to have a fully customized and owned experience. The problem we felt is we were antiquated the moment we launched. Right? The marketplace is changing, and I'll just remind you, between the years of 2020 or 2015 to 2022, a lot changed in the MarTech world. Right? CDPs became a requirement. Tag management systems became a requirement. The ability to move data seamlessly became a requirement for you to run a business effectively. The last thing that was a commonality was a completely disconnected enterprise experience. That means a lot of times you can just go all in, right? You can pick a stack and say, I'm gonna pick every platform in that stack and go with it. What's really weird is if you pick 4 of those stacks, but you pick just little specific platforms within those stacks. That means you've gotta own and operate to their design how you run those platforms. Creates, once again, inefficiency, inconsistency. The data needs to be formatted in a specific way for it to work. So we knew we needed to change. Were we gonna go with a preppy look in our new role, a goth look? We didn't really know. But we did know what we were coming in with. What was our predetermined stack? That can't be right. Oh no, we had nothing. Absolutely nothing. We didn't know what our campaign management platform would be. We didn't know what our CRM would be. We didn't know how we would get data. We didn't know what our tag management system would be, and we certainly didn't know what our CDP would be. This slide is the reason I'm at DIRECTV. Very few times in your career do you get to walk into a role and have a blank slate. It is also terrifying because you have to explain to your leadership, because you have nothing selected, the road's gonna be bumpy, it's gonna be hard, and you have to literally change every single part of an airplane while it's in the air and it cannot crash. It's difficult. So we knew we needed to change, and we knew what we didn't want to do is a lift and shift. We didn't want to take the platforms that existed in the stack on that day, simply put them in a DIRECTV context, wipe out the name of the instance from our previous owner to DIRECTV. That wasn't going to work for us. So change was upon us. We wanted to embrace that change and really challenge ourselves to be better. All of that doesn't start in a vacuum, though. We really wanted to go through a deliberate and purposeful process to get to a better outcome. That starts with, we talked to everyone. One of the commonalities we've seen, even in our venture now, is teams say, oh, that's a marketing tool, or that's an IT tool, or that's a call center tool. What we wanted to make sure when we installed our stuff was we were installing enterprise tools. Everyone needed to be invested. We needed folks to know where we needed their input. We needed folks to understand how they were going to connect to us. We needed folks to challenge us on use cases and how they wanted to work in the future. Right? Nothing should stay the same. You should always be challenging yourself to move faster and break things. Breaking things is not a bad thing. My team will tell you always have the liberty of breaking something. You just can't do it. You can't break it the same way twice. From there, we created a vision. I'm not going to drain the slide entirely, but I will just say, on the left-hand side, it's super manual. It's a lot of hand-delivered lists. I swear, I think we send it in the mail at times. It's channel-specific. So we would build a list. We would give a list to email. We'd build a list. We'd give a list to SMS. We'd build a list. We'd give that lead list over to our OBTM teams. It's super inefficient. And those lists are stale after a week, right? Lists are like fish on your counter, right? Probably good to eat in the next few hours. But man, if you wait 5 days, you're taking some risks. And it's probably not going to end well. We knew we wanted to move into a fully automated, non-manual system where lists are reused across platforms and channels, where items are meant to, and communications are meant to be multi-channel, and they all existed within in a journey that kicked off automatically. Right? We did not want to push what we thought customers wanted. We wanted to respond what we knew customers wanted. So if you're looking at this slide and thinking, that doesn't look right, I think I had too much last night. 1, you probably still did. 2, we blurred this out. We blurred it out because we don't need to share all our secrets. We do have flaws, and you don't need to know all of them. But the next thing we did is we made our plan. And our plan didn't just talk about data or CDP. We talked about how we wanted to do content. We talked about strategic imperatives within the company. How are we going to change as campaign requesters and campaign strategists? We talked about data in the mesh, how we were going to engage that data, how we were going to manipulate it, what types of data, how we wanted to operate decisioning and modeling, and what teams were going to do what. All of that was built into our plan, and we had a 3-year vision of how to get there. Some of these were small, like finish the installation of GA4. But some of them were big. Some of them we're still aspiring to. Technically, you'll never reach it. The first on that list is we needed to be in a customer-centric model. Stop telling the customer what they want to hear. Start reacting to customer needs. I'll give you a story. We mapped out one customer's experience over a month. One customer. In 1 month, we sent a customer 18 emails. That's a lot. How many of those emails shared the same message? 0. So we communicated with the customer 18 times in 30 days, and we told them to do 18 different things, and that was in one channel. Just envision what we were doing when we were calling them. Theoretically, they're getting on the same day a different message in SMS, email, OBTM, and on our website. It's crazy. What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to think? Where are we trying to drive them? Are we using our best-in-class capability to deliver the right offer at the right time and lean towards that marketing utopia of nailing them with the correct communication right when they need it. The second two probably seem obvious, but if you've ever worked in a CDP or with data before, you know it's not necessarily. We wanted to make sure we had a source of record. We wanted to ensure that our Snowflake instance was truly source of truth. Why? And don't tell Tealium this. We wanted to make sure we weren't reliant on the single platform. Right? We had gotten in a bad relationship before and we needed to exit. What if we get in another bad relationship and need to exit? By putting our data in an area where we can continually go back to it and move it to a different platform, it means we're not dependent on anybody. Right? We can be truly independent, and that was the goal. Third, identity. When I say that we had a bifurcated identity system, an identity methodology previously, I mean that every platform had a different identity. That's not hyperbole. The identity used on our website was different than the identity we used in our campaign management execution, was different from the identity we used within our application, is different than the identity we used within our direct mail ecosystem. I mean, nothing could talk to anything. It was like we were at the United Nations with no translation. So we wanted to make sure we created an identity key ring where, sure, those ecosystems could still maintain how they're doing it, but now we can ensure that that translation exists. And last but not least, we wanted to select and implement a CDP. I think that's why I was invited today. Naturally, we selected Tealium. I've talked about kind of our data platform and our data philosophy. This kind of illustrates that data philosophy where we wanted to really funnel that down. So take all the raw data that exists within your Snowflake instance, developed a data layer that has zero identity and is anonymized on purpose so that your analytics team has a very privacy-safe way of doing whatever modeling they need to do. Apply an identity layer not only across first party but third party. Stick that in your orchestration layer, which is your CDP, and then you can activate it anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. And then we execute. And you're probably going, one, did Tealium design these slides? Why did they get the only logo on here? The answer is absolutely they did. But execution doesn't stop at use case one. It never should, and it never does. My team hates this slide. We always talk in our ethos, we talk about the 3 Ps. Everyone in here probably knows the 3 Ps. You need the right people to run the right platforms with a process that allows you to scale. For a MarTecher, that's not good enough. Because if you nail the right people in the right platforms with the right process and no one uses it, do you even have an effect? Do you do anything? So one of our jobs is, regardless of what platform you own within the team, you have an obligation to advocate. What is the next use case? What is the next feature? Ideate. With that feature, what can we do? Who can we support? And start to move out into the world and communicate and partner with those teams to ensure we're maximizing the value proposition of these platforms at all times. And that means you're going to execute more. It means more destinations, more connectors, more outcomes, and then you're going to execute even more. Elizabeth mentioned before I got on stage, and I didn't know she was going to say it, that we have over 1,500, I think, connectors at this point, 1,200 attributes, 300 audiences. We really like to challenge ourselves to be better. That means moving data seamlessly, and thankfully, we picked a CDP that does that really, 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 really well. And I don't need an engineer or an IT expert to walk in the door and do it. Us idiot marketers can literally do it ourselves. In the end, MarTech helps everybody. You should have a multitude of customers. Why? More customers means you can find more adoption because they can challenge you. Trust me, go ask the privacy team that we work with. Our requirements on data security, state regulations around personalization within the digital ecosystems, the ability to collect data with consent, they constantly challenge us to be better. I constantly challenge our platforms to be better, always. We span across finance, right? Finance wants to know what campaigns we're running, what's our effectiveness. The nice part is we get to help them because we can absolutely run A/B tests across everything and within our audiences at all times. It's pretty cool. So I want to take a little bit of a curve and show you some of the things that DIRECTV is focused on as we move forward into the future. I'm just going to reset kind of where we're at because I did add some animation to this slide. But you can see we're really trying to focus in 4 areas, critical areas. 1, data speed. I mentioned that we like to use a CDW as our core data hub, if you will. But there are some use cases that require real time. Some examples. When someone calls to cancel at DIRECTV, we have a period of time where they're still technically on platform paying customers, but we are running out of runway. We're officially moving to a finality, a breakup of our own. We have time to save them. Every minute counts because the moment they make that cancellation, they're probably on the phone with somebody else. They're dating somebody else. We need to get in front of them and save them immediately across every channel. So a 2-day lag in your data is 2 days where they've already gone on 2 dates. They've already tried a free trial. So you got to get in front of them. You got to talk to them, save them, give them an offer, keep them on platform. The second thing we really want to do is, you guys have all experienced the internet. You know that retargeting is the most effective media you can physically buy. No shocker there. But we want to do more of it within the direct space. If you click on an email, it's retarget you across other channels. If you perform an action within our application, let's make sure we're seeing and hearing that inside of our email. Let's make sure that we are able to understand where you're at as a customer and react to what you want and need instead of guessing once again. 3, this is not necessarily a data statement, but we do want to consolidate our assets. We didn't have a DAM. Part of me wanted to add a DAM solely. I could go into meetings and say the word DAM as many times as I want to leadership all of the time. It is a joke that I still do. Yes, I'm beating a dead horse, but by golly, it's fun. The 4th thing we want to do is we want to get in front of more channels. We want to get in front of the customer in more places. Any guesses at DIRECTV what the hardest channel to execute is? Owned media. My ability to execute inside of the DIRECTV application itself is one of the hardest things for me to do. Crazy. But that's one of the things that, because of Tealium, we are allowed the capability to enhance how they operate their business. And now we can market to a captive audience. Let's see here. There we go. The next thing we really implemented is the idea of Lego block audiences. I think all of us have probably experienced a marketing ecosystem where a marketer is in an execution platform and all of a sudden they've been tasked with becoming data architects. Right? What is the correct value for account status? What are the values for customer type? How do I leverage a model? Is it the best when it's a small number, like a 1, or is it best when it's a big number, like a 99? What happens when you do that? When you say, hey, marketer that has 0 data experience gets in there to do something, is they do it wrong. That's not a knock on them. It's inevitable. You're asking a veterinarian to fix your car. It's just not the right skill set. What Lego blocks allow us to do is control bite-sized components. I'm a nerd, so I watch a lot of documentaries. One of the things that made Panera Bread grow so fast back in the day was it was able to have a system where they could create sourdough bread at scale while maintaining quality at all their stores. I like to say this is our sourdough bread. We're owning the audience, we're controlling the audience, we're sending the audience, and now it's simple yes, no question. Are they a satellite customer? Yes or no. Are they eligible for HBO? Yes or no. And then last thing we wanted to do, and this is an extension of what Mike Anderson talked about yesterday, context. Context matters all the time. So we want to really focus on how we do a handoff into our call centers. Call intent, by far, is the lowest hanging fruit for us. How many people call about a question that you've looked up on the site, and you have to tell it again? Hey, what are you calling about? You got to repeat it. And then the agent picks up the phone. What do they say? Hey, what are you calling about? And you've got to repeat it. It is annoying. It is absolutely annoying. So what if we had a phone number on an error page, and I could literally send you to an AI agent that knew how to solve that error, and I knew why you were calling? We don't need to have you ask call and response. The answer's there. It's ready for us. I'm proud to say that we launched a use case, 2 weeks ago? We got results on a use case 2 weeks ago. The value proposition at DIRECTV covers half of all our MarTech stacks. Right? And that's one use case, one intent, one removal of an IVR, one inform of an agent, and we're able to reduce handle times and increase performance by 8 percentage points, which in the grand scheme, that's a lot. The second thing we want to do is give the agent actual agency. I don't need to give them a novel. I got 1,200 attributes in my system. They don't need 1,200. But I need to tell them, are they reducing their viewership? One of my favorite use cases here is if you call because you think your bill is too high, and we want to downgrade you and right-size you to another package, but your favorite channel gets sacrificed? Is that a great experience? Shouldn't the agent already know that your favorite channel is Fox or ESPN? And shouldn't they know that if they downgrade you, you're going to lose it? That's a terrible user experience. We can avoid that with data. Data can solve that problem. And then lastly, the and what. The and what is critical, and it's something we are striving for now. And that means why they're calling in the call center, and let's ensure that we're responding in kind. Nesby's in the crowd. He was on stage yesterday. The stage was much bigger yesterday, I think. Nesby mentioned a use case that we're really proud of. Bad calls happen. They absolutely happen. They're unavoidable. Sometimes people want bad calls, right? Their disposition when they walk in the door is negative. Hell, some meetings, I walk in with that disposition. I know it's going to be a bad meeting. When those bad calls happen, you know what we probably shouldn't do? Send an upgrade message the next day. Or try to cross-sell them into a new set of products. Man, what a terrible experience. If you're in your home and you get in an argument with your spouse, is that the right time to bring up that you want to buy a new boat? Or you want to do some DIY in the house? No! You need to shut up. Don't say anything. So this use case says, bad calls happen, we know they happen, let's put a user in a quarantine, shut up for a little while, and then let's bring it back when we're much healthier, and they're in a better disposition to be talked to. Those are some of the things we've been doing at DIRECTV. I do appreciate your time. We do have time for potentially 1 or 2 questions if they're out there. I do appreciate it. And let's ensure we get the mic if you do have a question. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Safe travels on the way home.